Joining me now with a reaction to 45's lawsuit and to discuss further these big tech giants hiding behind Section 230, Texas Congressman Brian Babin. Congressman, welcome back to the program. Just right out of the gate here, your reaction to 45's lawsuit today.
Thank you, Dan. Good to be with you. Well, my reaction is it's high time. I think it's time that the president starts swinging back. You know, he's got the wherewithal. He's got a great battery of attorneys, as he just said. And I think it's high time that he started coming back at these people. Let me tell you, he said it himself. If big tech can silence the president of the United States of America, just think what he can do to normal folks around this country. And I'm going to tell you something else, Dan. If we value our First Amendment rights, we must repeal Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act. Democrats used to play the, you know, they would give us a wink and a nod and say, yeah, we're all for that. I think there are a few that might go with us, but we can't count on them. We must repeal this if we want to save our great democratic republic and keep us from having another disastrous election like we saw last November.
Yeah, Congressman, I would say the only hope for that, though, is going to be to take the House back, because you're right. There are a handful of old school Democrats. I always like to call them Kennedy Democrats because they're sensible enough you can have a conversation with, and you actually might agree on a couple things. But the majority of these new, especially the younger ones, are so radical and liberal, there's no speaking to them. But I don't see enough votes in the House. The Senate, maybe, depends which way Manchin, a few of them go, to overturn and get rid of 230 until 2022 when we take it back. Wouldn't you say so? I mean, we're kind of stuck with this censorship until we take it back.
I'm sorry I inferred that. I don't see this happening while we're in the minority in both these houses. So we've got to take the House and the Senate back in 2022 in the midterms next year, and I think we can. I think it's looking real good. I think Americans are really getting very apprehensive. Even the ones that voted for Biden have buyer's remorse now. They've lost their jobs. Union hands laid off after the first day in office of Biden. You know, killing the Keystone Pipeline, going after big oil and fossil fuels. And the spending spree that this administration's been on, the taxes they are recommending, it's just incredible what they're doing. A wide open border, a crime spree that is just spiraling out of control, and then the Democrats wanting to blame that on guns or Republicans or what have you. And they've been wanting to defund the police. We saw that and heard that every single day, all day long, and still are from some of these radical Democrats. And then they trying to tell us that our lying eyes don't believe what our eyes and ears are seeing and hearing.
Yeah, you know, we're going to discuss the rise in crime a little bit later in this program, and I want to get your take on it because the numbers don't lie. Chicago, New York, and so many other cities that are all Democrat-controlled and have been for decades. Crime is rising. They used to be able to blame it on Trump. That's what they said all the time. It was his rhetoric that was causing the spikes in crime. Remember that over the last few years? Well, you can't do it now. I'm sorry. It's Biden's America. He's in control. Well, maybe he's in control. Anyway, that's another subject. Your thoughts on the rise in crime, and would you say, I firmly believe, that it leads directly to rhetoric from Democrats, radical liberals? It's these DAs, these mayors, city council members, and governors that are giving criminals a free pass.
It actually started back in Obama's term when he began to demonize the police, and it's just gotten worse and worse until there are whole segments of our society that just don't feel like they need to cooperate with the police. If they're going to be arrested, you know, it's the first thing my dad taught me when I became a teenager. He said, you know, if you're having a little problem with a police officer, you just say, yes, sir, no, sir, do everything he says, and we'll straighten it out later. But now, we've got people that think they don't have to cooperate with the police. Right. You've got Democrats that continue to demonize the police, want to continue to defund them. Here in Austin, Texas, in our great state here in Texas, they took $150 million out of their police budget, and they wonder why their homicide rate's up 52 or 53%. And it's all across the country. And almost 100% of them, as you said, are Democrat-controlled cities. They can't run. They can run, let's put it like that, but they can't hide from being culpable and completely responsible and accountable for this rise in crime.
Representing Texas' 36th Congressional District, Congressman Brian Babin, thanks for coming back on the program. We're going to have another guest here coming up shortly. We're going to discuss that rise in crime more in depth. But, Brian, we appreciate your insight. You take care.
Absolutely. Thank you, Dan. God bless.
God